Okay, we'll call the regular meeting of Monday, June 17th, 2024 of the Norwalk WPCA to order. We have a quorum present. That was item number one. Item number two. Are there any public, is there any public input or any guests from the public outside the WPCA that wish to be heard or have their comments recorded or questions asked and answered?
There are not.
No one's waiting. Very good. It is 5:31. Item number three, is there a motion to approve the meeting minutes? Barbara gets it. Miss Smith. Any comments, questions, corrections? No. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Bovee, Ostafine, Freyer, Manella, Smith, unanimous. Very good. 5:31 still. Is there a motion to elect officers? Mr. Freyer. Do you have a slate of officers that you'd like to nominate?
I'd like to stay with the same slate we have right now.
Okay, I believe that's Ostafine, Ignary, Bird. Correct, Ralph? Okay.
That is correct, sir.
Any opposing nominations? Any other nominations? No. All in
Nope.
favor? Aye.
Aye.
Bovee, Ostafine, Freyer, Manella, Smith, unanimous. 5:32. Authorize the chairman, authorize the chief of operations and public works to execute orders on contracts with the Situform Technology LLC, sanitary sewer rehabilitation project, WPCA, and an amount not to exceed $800,000, copy attached. Is there a motion to authorize the chief of operations to spend $800,000? Looking for a hand. Freyer gets it. Okay. Any comment from staff?
Yes, sir. Including the board package, item 5 is a breakdown of what we're looking to add to the Insituform contract. They started in January and through June, they've been everything great. We've had so much luck with lining, anywhere from 8 to 24-inch pipe with Insituform. We're very impressed. Previously, we added with the previous contingency monies, the Marvin Beach pump station sewer shed, and that work was completed. We're looking to add the Woodward Avenue pump station sewer shed. It's mostly the pipes that we're looking to line are clay tile or asbestos cement pipe. In addition to lining, we're looking to add manhole rehab as well. Excuse me. And it also includes lateral grouting. In addition to Woodward, we're looking at some easement areas that are hard to maintain and roots get in. So what we're looking to do is easements in the Shady Beach pump station sewer shed. There's a few sections there that we'd like to add for lining purposes. And again, manhole rehab and lateral grouting. And lastly, Veolia, now that they've been here through over 4 years, we're going to be starting contract year 5 come July 1st. They identified some critical assets that they recommended for lining due to mostly root intrusion. So by lining, it keeps out the roots from getting into the main pipe via joints or broken pipe. So we identified lining there along with some manhole grouting, manhole rehab, and also lateral grouting. The additional estimated cost is estimated at just over $1 million. We are asking for $800,000 tonight because we do have some additional change order monies from the initial approval.
Questions from staff? I'm sorry, from the board. Anybody from the board have any questions on that? You warned us last month that this was coming, right?
That's correct.
So, all right, all in favor? Aye. Bovee, Ostafine, Freyer, Manella, Smith. That passes unanimously. Item number 6, it's 5:35. Authorize the City of Norwalk purchasing agent to increase the purchase order to WPCA for wastewater treatment system operations maintenance management services with Veolia in an amount not to exceed $1,770,000. Is there a motion to authorize the purchasing agent? Hovey gets that one. Comments from staff, presentation.
Mhm. Included in the board package is item 6. It's a breakdown of the capital items that we identified that totals the $1.77 million for the request. These items, the way the contract is with Veolia, there is a major repair and replacement account or description. The monies for MRR replacement or repair is anything greater than 10,000 becomes the city, anything less than 10,000 would be replaced or repaired by Veolia. We have in our annual operating budget a line item that includes the base fee plus for contingencies, about 500,000, 600,000 for these MRR
Yeah, I
contingencies.
have it on here.
Yes.
The first couple years
Watch.
with COVID and with Suez learning the facility, we didn't tap into.
Mr. Smith, could you mute your input? Schmidt. Mr. Schmidt. Go ahead, Ralph.
All right. The first couple years, Suez learning the facility.
Mr. Schmidt, Mr. Jared Schmidt, could you mute both of you have two inputs into the meeting. One of them is reverberating feedback. That's the one. I don't know if you can hear me. Try again.
All right.
I am.
There we go.
Okay, now they look like they're muted. Go ahead.
All right. So the first couple of years, Suez came on board through COVID, and with learning the facility, it took a couple of years to really start identifying areas that needed some major repair or replacement. Some of these items were beyond a small asset or assets that are under $100,000. For example, blend tank number 1. This project has been going on since 2022. The final estimated cost is around $500,000. Another item that was identified actually during OMI tenure at the end, and then Suez continued to investigate with Kohler Generator, was the upgrading of the controls and software for our treatment plant generator. That's around $270,000. In addition to that, those items, we have a couple lining projects that one is near completion, which is in the Colonial Village area that exceeds over 100,000. We have another potential lining project that Veolia has continued to investigate by Commerce Street underneath the railroad tracks. So it's an area that's old brick sewer, and potentially we're going to line it before the bricks start to, due to the mortar, start to fall apart. In the Headworks building, we have 3 critical bar screens that sees all the anything larger than a ½ inch, it removes from the wastewater. The bar screens are part of the Headworks project in 2012. And after about 12 years, 13 years of service now, there are some major repairs. Some of the steel components that are made today, stainless steel, need to be replaced. The steel has been corroding from the wastewater and hydrogen sulfide. So that's why they're on the list. Lastly, or 2 other items, the treatment plant, building number 2, is where there's locker rooms for the staff, for the Veolia staff, along with a lunchroom and additional office space in the lab. That building, the floors are from the original treatment plant from 1931. Veolia came to the city team and asked, would we consider doing a project to enhance that building and to, there's a lot of tripping hazards. So that's part of the problem. The floor is buckling. It's got some old asbestos in the concrete. So we got, the Veolia team has a price for about $100,000 to rehabilitate the floor and then just enhance it for the staff. And lastly, 4 Point Pump Station. We've been working with the Walk Bridge project because of the Walk Bridge multiple projects that they're looking to do. The underpass on 4 Point that currently goes adjacent to South Smith Street is going to be shifting, and we have a large 36-inch diameter pipe that flows underneath that underpass. Because they're looking to shift it to this South Smith Street where you can just go directly underneath the railroad tracks, that they would end up having to relocate our 36-inch. In lieu of that, we had sat down, this was 3-4 years ago, and engaged them that we would like to upsize our pumps at the pump station, and that would allow our force main only to be modified versus the big gravity interceptor. And they agreed that if the city buys the pumps and a flow meter, their contractor would install the pipe, they would purchase the piping and everything else, and then all the labor would be under the Walk Bridge project. So in essence, we're taking a 2006, 2007 pump station, that's I think the age of the pumps there now, and we're going to be upgrading them later this year with new flight pumps. So all these items we're bringing to the board's attention because the operating account for the Veolia project, that we feel that these items are more capital related, but had to move forward because without doing these projects, they could create a major catastrophe at the treatment plant. So now that the projects are coming to a close and final pricing's coming in, we're coming back to the board to make sure that we have sufficient funding to cover these projects.
Other questions from the board?
Ralph, are these included, were they included in the budget for this year?
So to answer your question is, if I pay for the blend tank that's been going on since 2022, I would eat up the budget. For any other MRR that may be identified over the course of this coming contract year.
Okay. So then the residual is coming from other overages or underspending in other accounts?
Yeah, so what we would do is these would be tapping into the collection system and wastewater treatment plant capital accounts that either we have already approval or are coming, the treatment plant capital account will be available this coming fiscal year. So come
So
July.
basically, in total, we're not asking for more money over and above what's already in the budget or what's in the capital account that has not been spent.
Correct.
Okay.
Mr. Freyer, I just want to emphasize that all this money, it is just coming from different accounts, but it's
Right.
showing already on the financial model that we
Yeah.
have. So we are not adding more to it.
I just wanted to make sure of that. That's what I suspected was happening.
Any other questions, comments? All in favor? Aye. Bovee, Ostafine, Freyer, Manella, Smith passes unanimously. Thank you very much. It is 5:44. Item number 7, authorize the City of Norwalk purchasing agent to authorize a sole source purchase order to Tesla for the purchase of 2 Tesla Model Y cars for an amount not to exceed $100,260. So a motion to authorize the purchasing agent by Mrs. Smith. Okay, presentation by staff.
I can speak on behalf of that one. So as all of you are aware, we are changing our fleet to a green fleet. We're trying to buy, this will be the first full electrical cars that we have. And so as part of trying to be the greenest city in Connecticut, the mayor has asked us to, for all the new purchases of vehicles that we try to buy, either electric or hybrid. So there was already some money on the WPCA budget to buy a couple of vehicles that they need. And so actually this purchase already got even approved by Public Works and Common Council. For the city, we are buying a total of 4 cars, but the WPCA will be able to fund 2 of them.
Do we have any questions from the board? No? Okay, then I have a few questions. How many cars does the WPCA have now?
Pretty much they just borrow the cars.
WPCA
They
has
have
4
some
cars?
leftovers.
We utilize 2 typically in the day. And,
Okay.
you know, for the most part, we have, two staff out. If, myself or Nelia, we'll grab another car from DPW fleet, or we'll use one of the foreman's vehicles or even our own vehicle as needed. But usually
Okay.
Chris and Shadram are the two staff members that are out daily. Shadram doing inspections and Chris doing going around to food establishments.
Okay, are we getting rid of any of our existing vehicles that are delegated to the WPCA specifically?
They
You
get
think?
rotated.
They're getting relocated?
Yes, so that's what we do. We ended up relocating we're seeing pretty much now the cars as just under one umbrella. So, and then in case, let's say the cars that they are using now, if for whatever reason has to be repaired or has to go for service, we'll pull car for somewhere else. So that's what we have been doing. It will be like that kind of approach that we have been using. We noticed that some cars for some departments have been using more than others. Some just stay sitting for days. So we're trying to, although the funding is coming from different sources, we're trying to have like just one umbrella for the fleet cars.
So we're not getting a trade-in value for the cars that we're getting rid of. We're just gonna move them around within the city. Okay.
But we will
Yes,
be,
because it's still considered a city asset.
and we also, Ms. Valadares, do you want to mention the, $7,000?
Yeah, so besides the price, there's also $7,500 rebate for each car that the city will end up receiving.
Okay, thanks. I understand the common council already went through this, right? So we're hearing this for the second time, but I don't mean to be blunt, but what assurances do we have that these cars will be dedicated to the WPCA? I understand that you're purchasing these under the same umbrella, and that makes sense. There's economy of scale. There's a much better deal, and we've always worked well with the city at large, but are we sure that
The
these
cars-
cars are gonna be used by WPCA employees? Because they're being
People
cleared.
definitely people related to it.
So that's a
So for
yes.
instance, if yes.
Okay.
So what we added is 2 more cars that we're gonna be able to have it available for WPCA. So they do not have the issue of not having a car.
It's always been my understanding that the WPCA's were created in the first place because in some other towns that a sewer user fee, which is an enterprise fund, ends up being viewed as a way to tax. And so I don't know who did it, and I don't claim to know the history, but it came where a case where roads were being paved with sewer money. And somebody said, we have to establish a WPCA so that when we collect money to treat sewage, that money is going to be used to treat the sewage and not to pave roads. And I know that's an extreme example compared to a couple of cars, but you're representing here that these cars will be dedicated to the WPCA.
Well, it will be with people associated to it for sure. Another thing is that I just want to remind you that also the WPCA also contributes to some of the service for the city. So
Yes,
even with the cars, what happened is that even if the cars are not there all day just for use of the city and that ended up being relocated to whoever will have the best use of the car, being electrical and who will have more mileage on it, there will be cars available to them. But this is also part of the whole thing where we trade some of the service and we try to minimize the costs through the departments.
So let me say that back and see if I understood it. We don't mind sharing. Is that what you're saying? I know we pay the city for all the WPCA employees, the city of Norwalk helps us with administrating insurance, et cetera, and the WPCA pays for that. And that's, I think, completely the way it should be. But you're saying the cars are gonna be dedicated to the WPCA, and there will be times when city employees will use the WPCA car, and perhaps there might be times when the WPCA might use city cars. It's kind of like a quid pro
Yeah,
quo
so
arrangement.
what happened is that we're gonna, as of now, with this purchase, there will be cars that with people associated to WPCA that will have access to the car. This cars is not gonna go to the tax collector, for instance. But it will be within people that is associated with the staff of it. So it can be myself, Chris, Ralph, Nelia, Chris, Shadron. All these people will have access to those cars. Sometimes it can be assigned to one of that people depending on the mileage and the type of car. But there will still be 2 other cars that will be available for the staff at all times. So they're gonna add 2 more cars available to them.
Where will the cars be parked? South Smith Street or up at City Hall?
It depends who is using. So if I'm using one of the cars, if I'm at City Hall, it parks there. If I'm at South Smith, will be parked there.
Does anybody else have any questions? Chris, Manella?
The chargers that you guys just installed, are they set up specifically for a Tesla, or did you investigate any other electric vehicles?
No, they are a general that we can put to any of them. They have adapters. So the ones that we're putting at Public Works and the ones that we're putting at City Hall, these cars will be charged on what we call behind the fence. And they are chargers that can charge any type of electrical car.
Any other questions from the board? Okay. All in favor? Aye. Bovee, Ostafine, Frayer, Smith. It's 4 out of 5, Mr. Manella.
No,
Right.
Again, not abstaining, opposed.
opposed.
Okay. Interesting.
That passes
The other
with
thing I was curious
4 in favor and 1 opposed. Mr. Manella.
I'm sorry, Mr. Alstine. Whoever is not speaking, can you please be on mute because we're getting a lot of back feed.
Yeah, I only see Mr. Frayer and myself, but I don't know why there's noise. Okay, it's 5:54. We are done with the business. Contract operations report number 8.
Good evening, everybody. May was a good month. It was pretty dry. The facility didn't experience any rain event or wet weather event in May. The Veolia collection system completed 2.1 miles of TV inspection. We cleaned 2.1 miles of sewer lines, 64 manhole inspections, and we completed 2.09 of SL ratting. Our IP inspector conducted 38 inspections. Our final settling tank replacement of our rubber sweeps has begun. Final settling tank number 1 was outfitted with the new rubber sweeps, and the new aeration instrumentation equipment is online and it's providing data. The facility was in compliance with all permits and requirements in the month of May. If you go to page 3, all of the monthly data has been updated and the contract year-to-date data as well. Are there any questions?
Hearing none.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Sorry, Darren, I have one question.
Sure.
And I'm going back to the the average daily flow and the 180 day average flow. So they're getting, I think I asked this once before, but they're getting pretty high. And I realized, I actually heard Ralph speaking on before we started here, that the flow on Friday was actually 8 million gallons before the storm. But is there do you foresee any problems with the deep? Because when we went in with the facility upgrade plan, we were pretty much saying that our flows are around 12 million gallons a day. We don't have to touch the plant. We're going to keep trying to limit our inflows and infiltration, but this number keeps rising. Is there do you guys foresee any issues with this at all?
Hey, Ross, if you want, I'll take that question.
Yeah, Ralph, that's fine. You can answer it, sir. Go ahead.
Good question, Chris. Not just Norwalk, but all of Connecticut got over 30 inches of rain in a few months. So speaking with other municipalities, everybody's flow is elevated. It's bad timing because of our ongoing communications with the state. However, I think we've peaked. The month of June is looking really good, and we're going to start seeing that number come back down to that 12 to 13 MGD that we in the last 5 years have been seeing pretty steady. So and again, we're also lining several $1 million of lining that's ongoing, and that's going to help as well. It just we just got Mother Nature gave us a lot of rain starting in December, January, February, March, and that's what increased the 180-day rolling average. But like I said, the month of May that we're on the mayor's dashboard, that's the peak. And once we get the average month for the month of June, we should start seeing that number drop. And I would anticipate with the summer, even though we could have the potential of heavy rain events, the monthly averages at the treatment plant should drop, and that 180-day rolling average will drop along with it. But tying into Connecticut Deep component, we actually do have, like you mentioned, we have 2 plans on their desk. A collection system master plan that we're looking to disconnect catch basins, and a facility plan that's looking to do about $50 million worth of CIPP lining. And both of those items would reduce flow in the collection system and at the treatment plant.
All right, fair enough. Thank you.
Very welcome.
Nothing else? Okay, it is 5:58, number 9.
Hello, we
Reports.
have the reports. The fiscal year 23-24 revenues and expenditures munis report is attached. We have the WPC engineering projects on the catch basin disconnect program. We're finalizing the design report with Brown and Caldwell. On the Hubbles Lane Relief Sewer project, we just did some smoke testing earlier last week. And the results showed that there were no connections that we weren't aware of. So that's going to help us as we move forward with 90% design that we're expecting to have back for review at the end of July. The Beacon Street Sanitary Sewer project, Brown and Caldwell provided a memo that we're currently reviewing. On the Keeler Brook Pump Station Replacement Project, we are working on an access agreement with Eversource for the Phase 2 environmental assessment that includes soil borings and groundwater monitoring. And we also received our permit from the building department, which includes conservation and the fire department, fire marshal sign off. On the WPCA construction projects, we have the Sambus and Bell Island Sewer Shed Rehab project, the CIPP lining project. We have an attachment on PDF page 20. It's 9C1. That's a table that gives us the current status of that contract. The total project includes right around 50,000 linear feet of sanitary sewer piping. 40,000 linear feet of piping has been completed, so that's 79% of the contract. And we have also added some additional scope to the contract that Ralph spoke about earlier. And the last item we have is the beach monitoring. So we have a website here that's linked. That'll provide status on the beaches in Norwalk. So that can be good to take a look at this summer to kind of see the health of the beaches in Norwalk on that website. And we have the sewer use appeals and adjustments status for fiscal year 23-24. We're at 67,496. And that's all we have on the reports. Thank you.
Any questions on reports? No. Let's say I have one. Does that swimming link count for clamming? Oh, yes. I know that's a health department thing, but that's a really, it sounds like a cool website.
It was actually developed by Save the Sound based on all their information that all their partners and other water groups put together.
So someplace
it's-
else will tell you whether you can clam or not. I'm not
It-
clamming anymore. I'm just curious. I know that was a big thing. Every time it rains.
Yeah, so it doesn't really go into about the clams or oysters. That's more the Norwalk Health Department locally based
Yeah.
on aquaculture.
Okay.
This website is just the health of beaches along Long Island Sound, both in Connecticut, New Jersey, New York, I believe.
Thank you. It is 6:02. Is there a motion to adjourn? Mr. Bovee, all in favor? Aye. Okay, that's unanimous for the four of us left. Thank you very much. I'll see you on July 15th. I should have asked if anybody had any comments or questions on anything. I like to do that at the end, but if you guys feel free to speak up. See you in July. Thank you.
Thank
Have a
you.
good night.
Bye.
Stop recording,
Thank you.
Daleen.